All right, here we are in the Disc Golf Pro Tour studios to talk about day one of the Waco Annual Charity Open. And boy, it was a day, right? Some of the stories that we thought were going to happen, some of the storylines actually played out. But then there's a few others that we didn't quite expect. So let's take a look at the leaderboard, right? Our lead card going into tomorrow. It's got a couple of names that you recognize, but you may not have thought it would have been in this order, right? So we've got Devan Owens as the outright leader of the tournament, throwing an 11 under par round. And then right behind him, we have Paul McBeth, like you might expect. And we've got Big Germ, the winner of the tournament last year, like you might expect to be right there. As well as Gregg Barsby finishing out the lead card at 9 under par. And remember, he was on the lead card going into the final round last year. So it's a bunch of guys that you might know. And Gregg at 9 under par is tied with the entire second card. So there are 5 guys that any one of them could be on that lead card if it had shaken out a little bit differently. So we have a tight grouping at the top, plus a whole smattering of players that are at 8 under as well. So how did they get there? How did these rounds come to be? Well, for Devan, he did it different than the other 2 guys did on the lead card. Devan he was first in scrambling and 5th in his circle 1 putts. That's how you get to the front, right? When you get in trouble, you get out of trouble, and you give yourself many, many opportunities for birdie. Paul, on the other hand, circle 1 in reg and circle 2 in reg, he was in the top 10. That's how he stayed out of trouble, okay? Keep it in the middle and take your birdie chances when you can get it. And actually, Paul, he only had 2 bogeys on the day, and both of them were completely in the basket, and he had bad things happen. On one hole, it was a great putt for birdie, split right through the middle, rolled out the back, down a hill into the bushes, almost outside of the circle in the shoal. He was able to get up and down there to save his bogey. And then on course hole number 2, coming out of the woods, his drive flipped or skipped on him uphill with a little bit of tailwind push, got out of bounds, and his putt to safe par hit good chains on the left side and fell out. So he was very close to being at 12 under par. Big Germ, how did he get there? Well, he decided to do it a completely different way. I don't need to stay in the middle. I don't need to hit big putts. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to park it. Germ was 3rd in the park statistic. That's how he got to the top. Now, everybody fell into a little bit of trouble out there, at least at one point, with the exception of 2 guys. There were only 2 clean cards on the entire round, and that goes to our leader, Devan Owens, as well as to Patrick Brown, who's sitting at 8 under par as well, right there on that 3rd card. So it kept him way up towards the top. And you know what else they did besides having clean cards? They were the only 2 people that were 100% in scrambling. When they got off of the fairway, they got back and they were able to save pars. Both of them were 3 for 3. So that's how these guys got there. What were some of the other stories that were coming into this round, right? We looked at Ricky. Was he going to bounce back from that really bad event out at Memorial as far as his putting goes? Well, on the very first hole, he had a missed circle 1 putt. Oh boy, it looks like it's going to get started again. Ricky actually opened up bogey on 1 and 2, and those are 2 holes that he expects to go birdie on. He was able to scramble back and get back to 6 under par. Think about it. If he had gone birdie like he would expect to do, he'd be on the lead card 10 under par. Now, everybody can tell those stories about what would have happened. Let's take a look at Simon. We were happy that he was even able to make the event. Getting into town with about an hour to spare before his tee time, he was able to fly into DFW about an hour and a half north. He got in late last night, came down this morning, and he had a very rough start. 4 over par through the first 4 holes. However, after that, he was able to battle back and get back down to have a decent round and keep himself in contention. What about James Conrad? Our guy that took to the playoff last year with Big Germ. He was 9 under through 16 par, looking like he was going to cruise to the lead card, and then hole number 5 happened. Yikes! He got gobbled up with a triple bogey 7. But you know what? He wasn't the only one that got eaten by hole 5. Hole 5 came in for the open men, playing at 1.12 strokes over par. A giant number for a par 4 hole. Out of the 108 men's scores that came in that UDisc was able to track, 9. Count them 9. Not even 2 whole hands full of birdies. 9 birdies. Let's look at some of the bad scores. 18 double bogeys. 18 double bogeys, but that's not it. There were 16 triple bogeys or worse. Man, hole 5 was eating people's lunch out there. And we thought maybe that the wind was going to change after this first day. It's going to get a little bit less, but you know what? It's still going to be a headwind come Friday and Saturday. So they thought they were going to get a reprieve on the second 2 rounds out at this course. Not going to happen. Hole 5 is still going to be there. So let's swing over to the FPO side of things and see how they were able to handle the beast today. The names at the top is everybody that you would expect. Coming in leading the tournament after the first round at 1 under par, Sarah Hokum. How did Sarah do it? She was supremely clean on her round. She is leading first in 4 different categories. On the fairways, parked, circle 2 in regulation, and circle 1 putts. And she was 4th in circle 1 in regulation. Sarah kept it in the middle, and she took her opportunities when she could, avoiding big numbers on that course. Katrina Allen, she's just 1 stroke back at even par. How did she do it? She was the absolute prototype of what was going to be necessary to succeed at this course. First in parked, first in circle 1 and circle 2 in reg, and second in fairways. She did not get into trouble at all. Now Paige, oh man, there was lots of ink on her scorecard, and at one point she was 4 over par. But she got it back to 2 over par after a strong finish. Paige was off the fairway 8 times. She had 8 opportunities for scramble. Now she did good saving 4 of those, but that's not something you want to have a whole big number at. And then rounding out the lead card heading into the second round, Texas' own Lisa Fakis, she could just look at her putting. That's what's going to happen to her. Take a look at her putting. 5 missed circle 1 putts, and she's only 4 strokes out of the lead. She doesn't have to do anything else different. Just hit those circle 1 putts, and she's going to be there. So let's head out to round 2 and see how everybody's going to handle this. Let's take a look at your Skip Ace Fantasy Disc Golf update. Leading after round 1 is Tim with 1,247 points, leading by 20 over Sami Savalainen. If the perfect lineup had been picked, they would be sitting at 1,380 points. That perfect lineup would be Devan Owens, Big Germ, Emerson Keith, and any one of the guys at 9 under par, plus Sarah Hokum and Katrina Allen. How far away were you from making those picks?
In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea, driven by a passion to create something original and authentic, right here in the heart of Texas. We've made a significant investment not only in our operations and whiskeys, but in the community that we know and love as Waco. Distilled in Texas, distinguished in taste.
Flashlight LED disc golf discs just changed the game. The unique Disco Select feature allows everyone to choose their own color by simply pressing the middle button, then pressing it again during the first rotation of colors when the one you want appears. Or you can leave it in disco mode, rotating through the 6 different colors for the duration of your game. Designed by serious professionals, crafted from Night Eye's unrivaled sure grip material, and featuring Night Eye's patented fiber optics array, these discs strike the perfect balance of durability, stability, performance, and just plain awesomeness. With easily replaceable batteries and an uber-long life, the Flash Flight driver, mid-range, and putter will shine as they blaze your path to victory, day or night. Night Eyes. Discover your solution.
Eric, thank you for sitting down with us for a second. Your life right now is all about throwing frisbees, right? Mm-hmm. But in the parents, or in the pictures that I got from your parents, your life used to be about kicking things a lot. So tell me about your kicking experiences.
Well, my dad was a big soccer enthusiast growing up, and he just showed me the door, and I loved it. And that also led to doing some field goal kicking for football as well, because I wasn't always the tallest, fastest, or strongest, but man, I had a foot. It's crazy to think that, I actually think that my feet are much more coordinated than my hands are, and now I'm playing a sport where I'm relying completely on my arms and my hands. So it's a crazy little transition. But
I've seen a guy throw a frisbee with his feet before, so I mean maybe you can, there's nothing in the rule book about that.
I might need to test the waters a little bit and allow my feet to carry me a little bit farther. It'd be cool.
So soccer was a passion for a long time, more so than football, right?
Yeah.
So like what was it about soccer? What did you love that kind of drew you to that? That's what they call the beautiful game, right?
Yeah.
So what was it?
My dad and I, we're very fortunate that he was able to take me overseas to actually watch soccer games at a really, really high level at a young age. I was probably the first time I went, I was about 10 years old. So I was really, really lucky to get to do that. And it's a different culture over there. And I was already in love with the game at that point because I was always had dreams of winning a World Cup and all those things. But once I went over and saw an English Premier League game and got to see how fans treated the sport, it's way bigger than it is in any sport in the United States. If their team doesn't play well, the entire town is in a bad mood. It affects everybody's way of life. So it's with that beautiful side of it, it's easy to love.
There's an ugly side when the whole town is in a bad mood, right?
Yeah, it can be ugly, but you see the beauty more, and I think that's the best part.
Okay, so somewhat talking about the beautiful side and the ugly side, even though you were the cool athlete guy, some of these pictures, you kind of went through an awkward phase, right? So what was life like for awkward Eric Oakley?
I was, I had those middle school years where it was rough, and I decided to be cool, grow my hair out, and that was kind of at the time, really popular in soccer, so a lot of players had long hair, they used headbands and stuff like that, so I just, I rode it, and...
What sort of music were you listening to right then? As a long-haired soccer player?
Rock, I think at the time it was a lot of Incubus, a lot of POD, like that, a lot of just early 2000s just rock, and it shows because I can still pop that stuff on and just enjoy it every time when we're on a long road trip. But I feel like I was lucky that my parents were handsome people and beautiful people that I came out all right in the end.
So all of this has combined to put you in a pretty good spot in your life right now. Mm-hmm. I know she's not quite your wife just yet, but tell me about your wife. You've played up in the world here.
Yeah,
you're kind of out over your skis.
I am winning when it comes to that. Tina is an incredible person, and she amazes me every single day with the things that she's able to do and how much she does. I would not be here if it wasn't for her. I wouldn't be as happy if it wasn't for her. And with all that being said, I'm really, really fortunate and very lucky that she's wanting to spend the rest of my life, or of her life, with me. And I'm very, very lucky, and we're gonna see it out all the way to the end.
Fantastic. I guess it is the rest of your life.
Yes.
Because once you're gone, she'll do what she can.
Exactly.
Bad company corrupts good morals, but this is one criminal you'll want to know. The criminal from Dynamic Discs is the utility driver you need to assault high scores on the course. With more speed than the felon and more stability than the convict, the criminal can be trusted in any situation. Befriend this criminal and start doing some bad things to your course.
This is Dixon Jowers filling in for Will Schustrick today. Let's see what the beast has to offer. If the course is a beast, hole 5 is its white-hot center of rage. 610 feet that makes an almost 90-degree dogleg to the right, while going down about 20 feet from mid-fairway to the pin. The players are going to need a precise drive and a brave upshot to maybe have a chance at a putt. The first problem facing the player on this hole is the difficult drive. The landing area is far away and small. If you land short of it, you've got no angle, and if you go long of it, you're going to roll down a slope OB. The second is the tight OB on left and right, here indicated in red. The third problem, if you were thinking you could bail out with a roller, are these rocks indicated in yellow. Everything about this drive is meant to make the player uncomfortable. And oh, by the way, there's a headwind. A bad drive leaves you with this angle of a blind shot to a green that has OB on 3 sides. And oh, by the way, there's a headwind. An absolutely perfect drive leaves you with a downhill 300-foot shot with a strong left-to-right wind, OB river on the left and OB shoal on the right. And if you want to bail out to the right, then you're going to have a downhill death putt to that same river. The beast is snarling.
In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea, driven by a passion to create something original and authentic, right here in the heart of Texas. We've made a significant investment not only in our operations and whiskeys, but in the community that we know and love as Waco. Distilled in Texas, distinguished in taste.
Hey there everybody, welcome to the Patreon raffle. This is our 2017 Patreon raffle. Today we're going to give away 3 prizes. It's a 3-round event, so we got 3 prizes. Day 1, pair of Disc Golf Pro Tour socks. Day 2, Silly Pint from the Tour Championship. Day 3, a Disc Golf Pro Tour soft t-shirt. You got it? Alright, so those are the prizes we're going to give away. We're going to pick our 3 winners right now. These will be the 3 winners throughout this entire event. Our 3 winners are 25, 10, and 53. Let's take a quick look, see who those people are. So our 3 winners are Stephen Kirkland, Zachary Pagak, and Sam Martinson. I think Sam won something the previous day, and he might have won a basket. So, being a Patreon pays. Thank you all very much. And if you'd like to be a Patreon for the Pro Tour, help support what it is that we're building, in all seriousness, patreon.com/DGPT. These people help to make this Pro Tour work. Thank you very much. Have a great day and enjoy the show.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. For me, it's fun.
The pros have traveled east across the Heiserin sphere to upgrade their approaches to be more cavalier. As they tumbleweed into Waco for the annual Charity Open, they've practiced their tactics with their plastic potions. Ventriloquistic throws with centrifugal flows, stimulating one's mind to the nerves in the toes. From brain to wrist, repetition must persist. Keep the money in your mouth and let the slick linguistic plastic do the talking. Through the air to the basket, making chains no longer stagnant, creating a symphony of chains and spectators gawking. Settle in next to your chain-adoring kin to watch some skyscraping throws as we prepare to watch round one with the featured MPOs.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 at the 2018 Waco Charity Open. I'm Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and we are here ready with our lead card. We hear Cameron Freimar calling the action. We're going to get right to it. We're behind hole number 7, which is the starting hole for the round. Of course, they'll play 7 through 18 and then 1 through 6. Let's get to the action. Cameron will join me as we tee off on our second hole. Initial leader here on the day, shooting 11 under yesterday. Big Germ again, out of bounds on the tee. That one comes up short. Check, check. I don't hear a static. Do you? We're out of the woods. We'll see if Hokum can remain quite as pinpoint accurate as she's cruising right now with a 7-stroke advantage. She's got plenty of room to work on this left-hand side. Puts it out in the open, trying to avoid all the trees. She's going to carry that left side. Carry it and carry it. Welcome to round 2, where Sarah Hokum opened up the tournament with a 1-stroke lead over Katrina Allen and a few ahead of Paige Pierce and Lisa Fakis. Very first hole, Sarah Hokum forehand not quite saved by the blackinkdisc.com wall. She's out of bounds. She'll get up and down. She'll take the bogey to start the round, and Paige Pierce is right there to pounce. Throws a great shot inside the circle. She's going to capitalize with the birdie. Katrina Allen for birdie, for par, for bogey, for double bogey. Katrina Allen taps in. She has her struggles, opening with the triple bogey.
Barsby's calling you, buddy.
We are here. Cameron Frymark is going to join me here as we're watching Gregg Barsby line up for his putt. Gregg Barsby with a great opening putt here. Again, Cameron Frymark, who was with him, you are now relieved of your MC duties, but now you're going to have to carry our show here. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Terry. Thank you for having me.
Devan Owens not able to get up and down and save the par. Correction, Devan does get the par. He did not go out of bounds as we saw Big Germ. Right in the middle of the chains there for Paul McBeth, and Devan will be cleaning up. We've got a short walk. We'll see you on hole number 8 in just a few moments.
Tempercraft USA. Double-walled 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea, driven by a passion to create something original and authentic, right here in the heart of Texas. We've made a significant investment, not only in our operations and whiskeys, but in the community that we know and love as Waco. Distilled in Texas, distinguished in taste.
It is with after taking time to secure his footing. He winds up in the center. We'll see what the ladies did on hole number 8.
Hole number 8's the par 4 with a slightly shorter tee pad. This is everyone from their approach shots. Paige Pierce, not the longest drive in the group, but she puts up a beautiful approach. That's going to put her right next to the pin. She's looking at a birdie. Katrina's drive was on, little bit to the right. Her approach was just to the right. She's looking at a birdie as well. Sarah Hokum has the standstill forehand, a beautiful line Paige Pierce set as she threw it off the tee. And her putt is back. That's Allen for birdie. Pierce cleans up for birdie. Sarah Hokum looking at a birdie. She immediately erases the bogey she opened with on hole 1. 3 birdies, the par by Fakis. We're moving to the next one.
And thank you for remaining patient with us as we're moving down the fairway on our second hole. We have pretty much determined that the power lines that cover over the top of hole 7 and all of hole 18 area apparently are not playing nice along with our cellular here. Well, we've be second shot.
Perfect approach. Line Gregg. And is within 10 feet.
Over toward the OB area. It looks like he's going to get confirmation from the rest of his group and that he is in fact safe, is what one of the spectators is telling us.
Yeah, whatever that line right there, the wall is open.
So Devan will get 1 meter. Well, we're going to get a clarification here.
Who's got a caddy book?
And it looks like a caddy book will be consulted here as Devan's about to throw his next shot. Devan throws to inside the Tomorrow we may just open on hole 9 or 10 and forego giving you the live action on holes 7 and 8. Again, some power lines always proving to be a little bit rather come in a few holes later. We'll also be keeping track of udisclive.com, so please go. And Conrad right now seems to be making a major push as he's fighting himself way up the leaderboard. It looks like he may even have himself technically in first place at the moment, so shooting very well. We'll keep an eye on him and others. And for the second hole in a row, Devan's putt is a little low. Big germ to within 10 to 12 feet.
We'll see you at hole 9.
Are you currently for the one? How do you get hooked up usually?
Through friends,
players' parties,
sometimes even fans.
And how's that been working for you?
Not so good.
Have you ever tried looking online?
Never.
You should check this site out.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Find your go-to disc at blankinkdiscs.com today. 2018 Tour Support discs available now.
Gotta get one.
I need one.
Conditions are much calmer on this hole today. I imagine we'll see quite a few more birdies on this than we did yesterday, as Paul puts us just inside the circle.
Big Germ goes with a forehand up the left side, but catches a tree. Barsby's lining up for a forehand as we hear a spectator with a loud cell phone ringing.
Barsby with the forehand, but hits the first tree available. Devan with a shot I've never seen before, but the lefty turnover with the putter, biting off of Paul's hyzer line, puts it just outside circle 1. We'll see you at the basket.
Saw 3 birdies on the previous hole. We moved to hole number 9, a little bit shorter and very, very doable. Elevated basket. Holcomb takes the low left side gap. Not as much wind as yesterday. Lisa Fakis, she's going to go out to the right. She wants to play that one in. It comes up short. She's outside the circle. I'm wondering, is Fakis, she going to run this? Is she going to lay it up? She's not quite sure. A little bit of a run, a little bit of a layup. She'll take the 3. Meanwhile, Holcomb cards the birdie 2. She's the only birdie on hole number 9.
And Devan from 11 meters hits right off the front of the cage. Third hole in a row, front of the cage.
He got it higher that time, though. You know, that's an improvement.
Paul McBeth from the same distance. He's about 3 feet outside circle 1. A solid putt by McBeth. You spoke of the conditions, and it is far less windy today. We're not feeling it. Yesterday, every 15 to 20 footer you had to think about. Today, not so much. Relatively calm winds, 5 to 10 miles an hour, as Big Germ is in for his 3. And yesterday, impressed with the scores on this whole day. Just one. Go ahead and say that's right on par with how.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour and the Waco Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs brings you the top 10 drives from the Waco Charity Open 2017, Part 1. We start with number 10, Lisa Fakis on hole 9. Number 9, James Conrad, hole 14. Number 8, Simon Lazat.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I ever saw this line was during the round, and then seeing the drone footage, I'm like, wow, that thing's really wide open.
Number 7, Eagle McMahon, hole 2.
Oh, the follow flight shot trackers, yes.
And number 6, Ricky Wysocki, hole 7. Thanks for watching those amazing shots from the Waco Charity Open in 2017. The 2018 Waco Charity Open starts Thursday, March 15th and runs through Saturday, March 17th. Live broadcast starts at 4 p.m. Eastern every day. The Disc Golf Pro Tour and the Waco Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Discs, presents the top 10 drives of the 2017 Waco Charity Open, Part 2. Starting at number 5, we've got Sarah Hokum on hole 2. Number 4, Will Shoestrick, hole 6. Number 3, Jeremy Koling, hole 9.
But
it still worked out just about perfect. I just hit the pin there.
Yeah, I think I'll take that.
Number 2, James Conrad, hole 12. And our number 1 drive, Gregg Barsby, hole 6.
I was looking for something a little bit more similar to this. That's how you draw it up. Yeah, that's how you draw it up.
Hokum trying to distance herself. She's now got 2 strokes on Pierce and 4 on Allen. We go into the woods for the next 9 holes. And not giving it full power, but giving it full accuracy is Katrina Allen. Lisa's going to play the low skip ground. That's a great way to keep it out of the woods or at least carry too far into them. Lisa, forehand, short, little bit right. Allen is blessed with a standstill approach, but finds the tree, kicks her to the left side. Fakis didn't quite make the corner, but she's going to put herself in range. She airballed from that spot yesterday. Let's see what she can do today. Allen's going to put it under the pin, walk away with the par. Fakis also cans her putt. Both of them walking away with the par, picking up a stroke on their card mates.
Yeah, it's a tough, tight line with a low ceiling, a few trees on the right side to get around, but he really needs it to be kind of overstating shot. But too far past that hill onto the river.
I'm Ricky Wysocki, and I'm wondering who's going to be the next generation.
If you didn't take the Next Gen Tour seriously, you definitely should come in future years because it's only going to get better.
Let's do this, guys.
They're up-and-coming superstars.
Go to a local level, then you qualify for your regional level, then you qualify for a national level. The prizes get bigger, and the pressure gets tougher.
I just, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a really, really good time.
And Paul McBeth, who's open holes, puts himself up on the side.
Germ opts for the forehand with the Sexton Fireman. Looks like it's going to hit. Up. It's got a little there though.
And we feel gentle breeze.
Sarah Hokum looks at a two-stroke advantage as we move over to hole number 11. Uphill, tight, wooded, tunnel shot, no problem. Katrina Allen says, I'll put it inside the circle. Let's see if she can make the putt. Hokum's low forehand is coming screaming up the hill and finishes just to the right of it. She's looking at a birdie. Allen's putter seems to be back on track. She takes the birdie. Hokum says, I'll match it. Who needs pars? We're through hole 11.
Oh, I already took it out.
Paul from 2 feet outside the circle has no problem with it. Devan taps in for his pars. The other two players are parked for their birdies. Germ with the fake out putt.
Through 11 holes, Sarah Holcomb still has the lead. She's got it by 3 strokes right now over Paige Pierce. Hole 12, 267 feet. It bends perfectly for Holcomb. She throws it down right at the pin. Paige goes with the backhand. It's just about perfect, and then gets the late kick. She knows it was close. She loved the shot. Doesn't matter. She's fully committed, and bang, bang. Paige Pierce lunging from the knee. That's a birdie. Holcomb answers because Holcomb can't take a par. She's too busy birdieing. We're through 12 holes.
Today it was just like just dropping. No, I don't know.
Welcome back to hole number 12. Paul McBeth starts out with a perfect 5 for 5. We see other people charging up the leaderboard. However, Paul McBeth is going to stake his claim here. So we're moving on to hole 12, again 267 feet with a dog leg to the right. This plays downhill. It's all about staying clean. And McBeth is turning over to the right. That looks to be in really good position, just a bit deep of the pin.
Germ opts for the forehand mortar shot, but hangs it a little wide left, but it stays clean and gets down there. Germ does a spin. Barsby with the forehand shot as well. Again, a bit to the left. He needs that to get back to the right.
Devan Owens keeping it tight on the left side, somehow getting through most of it. Let's check in with the women on hole 12.
Bad company corrupts good morals, but this is one criminal you'll want to know. The criminal from Dynamic Discs is the utility driver you need to assault high scores on the course. With more speed than the felon and more stability than the convict, the criminal can be trusted in any situation. Befriend this criminal and start doing some bad things to your course.
Gregg, after hitting a tree, puts his approach just under the basket.
There you go.
Devan from outside the circle puts in solid putt, dead center.
Hopefully Devan's going to find his stroke, get back on track here. He's had a little bit of a rough go first few holes. Big Germ confirms as to where he is in relation to Paul McBeth. Looks like McBeth is going to be next to putt. McBeth will be putting back at the gallery. Looks about circle's edge. Maybe just inside it by a foot or two. And McBeth remains perfect. 6 for 6 to get going here today. It's going to be impossible to catch McBeth if he stays on this pace. Great putt by Big Germ. He's going to walk away cutting the birdie. So Gregg Barsby, the only player not to birdie here on hole number 12. We'll see you on 13 in just a few moments.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Careful, Nick. Hit it there. No, I don't want to make it that way. 2012, 2013.
Yeah, because there's not enough room.
And welcome back, everyone. We're here on the tee of hole 13. Very congested area as we move through these narrow corridors found on the back nine. McBeth sitting at 16 under par. Drew Gibson currently sits 15 under par as he is 6 under for the round. Nate Perkins sits at 14 under par, as does James Conrad, along with Bradley Williams. Bradley Williams, who is currently 12 down through 17 holes, and Bradley Williams has currently moved up 49 spots, along with Austin Turner, who's done the exact same thing. Moved up 49 spots as of right now, and is on the card with Bradley Williams. The two of them combined are 24 under par, which is ridiculous. .462 feet here for hole number 13. This is coming in as the second easiest hole par. 4.
Jeremy puts his a little bit too high, it looks like. Trying to get that flex forehand shot out to the left that comes back towards the center in the mouth of the opening. Devan with a turnover shot that looks like it's headed for the center of the fairway. It kicks a little bit off to the right, but he should be fine from there.
Gregg Barsby making sure all the media is out of the way as he throws his forehand, and that is finishing hard for him. Let's see how the women did on 13.
Through 12 holes, Holcomb still has a 3-stroke advantage after a great putt by Pierce on the previous hole. Par 4, 462 feet. This is a 2-shot hole that plays out to the open and then over a valley. Placement is crucial on the tee shot. They both hit the gap, both Katrina and Holcomb. Pushing a little bit too far to that side, but Katrina says, I can still make the approach. Puts it right next to the pin. Should be no problems for the birdie. Holcomb stands still, has the line and the angle, gets it to stick. Cat will tap in. Holcomb says, birdies are fun. I'll keep at it. We're through 13. Holcomb now a 4-stroke lead.
Big Germ has that flip up that's heading right toward the basket. That looks like it's going to be parked. Relatively effortless. Does it at all surprise you, Cameron, that this hole plays as the second easiest relative to par? Is that surprising to you? Because it is to me.
No, not at all. If you can just get one out of that tunnel, it's not such a hard 3 from there. The 2 is possible as well, but I don't think that we've seen any so far out here. Where Paul is at, he's going to have a difficult time getting to the basket to try and get his 3. It's pretty obstructed, it's on the side of a hill, and he's got some random brush and a couple of trees to contend with.
There's also the possibility of a excited vehicle that drives by and at the most inopportune time honks. It seems like that's a really popular thing to do. I know it's not just this course or the city, but it seems very popular here.
We actually have fire trucks here that will wait for you to throw, to lay on their horns. They'll just park until you throw.
Trying to make this course every bit as difficult as it should be, whether they're artificial distractions or otherwise. And McBeth looking like he's going to go with a backhanded standstill, and that has a little bit of angle on it. I'm guessing that's going to hit and roll for him. His perfect round's in jeopardy at the moment. Uh-oh, are the wheels falling off for McBeth?
Clearly, you know, he's never been in a situation like this before, and he won't be able to handle it.
We'll see what kind of look Paul McBeth has from down at the bottom of the hill. Devan Owens stepping out to his left. He's going to throw a forehand shot here.
It was high enough to get there, but just a little bit too high. For where he's at there, he can still run that putt. He can still be aggressive if he wants to. It's not so terrible.
And Barsby's on the right-hand side of the fairway. This is by far the furthest drive we've seen in the last 2 days.
Yeah, again on this hole, a lot of guys aren't going to try and get distance. They're just going to try and get out into the open just to get in front of this mouth. I think Barsby had expected his to turn over a little bit more, and it was just basically a laser at that right side.
Barsby outstretched. He'll throw from his right knee on the ground. Goes back to the basket. We also have heard that Devan Owens' disc got up and rolled closer to the pin. And he needs that to turn a little bit more. Somehow it gets through most of the trees. I'm in disbelief that it got that far. It went right through the thickest part of those trees.
Yeah, the height was right, but it was way too far to the left. But that was an incredible filter through. He'll have a look there. It'll be a little bit obstructed, a little bit odd footing, but I think he'll be able to knock that one down. Devan keeps it high. Ball one hits right side and does not stick.
Quite surprised to see that slide out on that right side. Looked like it was in. He thought it was in. I think everyone else thought it was in. Somehow it slid just through the chains. Somehow McBeth gets his from upper chain to slide all the way down. He remains perfect, 7 for 7 during this round, and he's got a grin from ear to ear. Even Devan says, I don't get it. Devan gives him the fist pump, so all in good fun, but Paul knows he got away with one there. Little fortunate break for him, and Devan's going to tap in. And Gregg Barsby's left with less than 20 feet, maybe 15. And Barsby's long drive rewarded with a birdie. As Big Germ says, good up and down. And Germ's in for the birdie as well. 3 birdies and a par. We'll see you on the next one. McBeth keeps it down the middle of the fairway. It looks like he's gone just a bit deep. He'll have a putt from there.
Germ going up the gut. It's got a little bit of a hyzer angle. It needs to settle because there is a hill. Barsby going putter flick shot. It stays down the middle, cuts between the three trees and puts himself just behind the tree in front of the basket.
And Devan takes the same route we saw from Barsby, but doesn't stay clean. Let's check in with the women.
Holcomb's birdie puts her now 4 strokes out in front of both her and Allen. Just a little 213-footer, but yet plays as a very difficult hole according to par. Holcomb laces it right up the middle, no problems. Pierce pulls it right, comes up short. She's going to be putting from circle 2. Lisa Fakis follows suit with Holcomb, gets a little tree love. She's looking at a putt. Pierce is going to give it a good run, but comes up short. Surprisingly, she'll miss the comebacker. She's going to take the bogey. All aboard. It's the Holcomb birdie train. It keeps rolling. Fakis says, I'm ready for my first birdie of the round. All pars, and now the birdie. She sits at +2.
Really good chance for it to get up and roll if you're not coming in perfectly flat.
That's 2 in a row. I believe we saw Germ putt from that exact same spot yesterday. He took less time in this one and felt more confident, and he's in for 2. Barsby just high from 20. He's lucky that that settled and didn't get a roll.
And Devan's approach had settled down. Paul McBeth even closer than we realized from the tee. I'm not sure he even knew it was that close as he taps in and goes 8 for 8. He's having a pretty decent round. Let's see if it continues.
Tempercraft, USA. Double wall, 18/8 stainless steel construction. Keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft, USA. temper your thirst.
Did we catch the cart ahead of them?
How much time was it?
1-5.
Oh, this hole is like...
Well, we caught them on this hole yesterday as well, but it wasn't a long way down to that.
No, I'm done. I named all of them. There's 4. Going back to last year, you laughed so hard if you watched all the footage because it came with like a theme that Nate and I would improperly label a species of tree. And people would get so upset, man. Dude, I didn't realize how adamant people got about tree species until commentary came around because, let me tell you, do not call a tree by the wrong name. Oh my God. That is not a pine tree, it's a deciferous Metalugii. What? How the hell am I supposed to know that? It's native to Oregon only. I will owe them an apology.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You want me to hold on to this?
Alright.
She's good.
Yeah.
We're in a group called the Punishers, and it's when it starts, it's usually about an hour-long barrage of just. I'd say bad, but it's good.
It's so good.
It's good.
It hurts so good.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch 44 bars, right? Is it Logic? I'm pretty sure it's Logic.
I mean, no Logic. 44 bars sounds familiar.
That's off the new album?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a good album.
Yeah. I was talking about Punch today, but about I don't like the hurt. They call that champagne. Something about when they drink, it's not the hurt. They call that champagne. I gotta look it back up there. I was like, okay, that's in the middle of it. It's got me going.
There's so many lines like that that go over my head.
So why don't you, why don't you have like headphones in one ear and then
the front stuff. The front.
Yeah. What are you telling me?
Hopefully I can get the next track.
It's like, hey, Mike, move. I just don't know where Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Battery. I was thinking about maybe trying that.
Yeah, it's on 17. We're watching last time at Summer.
So you were watching live, you weren't there though?
No. We were already back. Yard like half a course. I couldn't believe he went for it.
I can't even.
Is that wind?
I can't even.
It's a headwind, right?
Yes. At about my shot on 17 yesterday. So after we started, like we over the car pass. Like, try to throw it with a little bit, like a cloud hyzer, but I threw it.
On the left, or you
Yeah, car pass on the left. I was immediately out of that. And, I mean, I was looking at like a really difficult 5, no, probably a 6, but like maybe another lost pitch, maybe another beat because I shot so hard to get short enough. And I looked to my right and through the hyzer, bummer. Through a gap about this size here, about 340 into a headwind over the trees, like over the whole way.
You got it safe? It's like 45
out,
right? 40 out?
40 out.
Make it? You came up
Hit
low,
the top
right?
of the ram.
Yeah. Oh, it still got your 5.
I got my 5.
Still got 5, which is pretty awesome.
Dude, I was playing it for 4. 5 is a good score in those conditions. With an OB, that's a great score.
What do you think of mine on that hole?
I called it.
I was watching him do it, I was like, oh my god, he's about to throw this thing right over the water in a headwind. Well, Annie, and then I hit like 7 feet from back to 6.
Yeah, you and Addison both.
Didn't freaking
use
Conrad
Velcro.
shoot that again, basically two times in a row?
7.
Who? Conrad.
7.
And that's the hole he messed up last was the hole with Jeremy.
And he didn't even do one aggressive shot. His tee shot was a Anheuser that caught the outside edge, dropped OB. And from there, he tried to throw a little Anheuser putter, hit the tree, drop down. Then he throws around again. He has a gator grip lock from like 150 feet left, goes straight right to the circle's edge, straight to the headwind. Missed that putt to the edge and barely made the next one for 7. It was crazy because
he was at 9 at that point. He was at 9 and
he was 9 under.
Yeah. And then he got one back on.
It would have been on the card. He parred that one and got a 3 in the last one.
So yeah, two times in a row in competition, he screwed up on that one. So that's a Durham Eagle 16 last year. And that really
birdied 17 and birdied 18.
And he called it too. He was like, you just don't go birdie.
He's got to go 4 down in the next 3. And I needed him to bogey one of those. It all happened. It all came together. All right, we're live, guys.
McBeth pipes this one. It's holding the right side a little bit tight, but it's got a good height to get far down there. And it looks like it's filtered down the hill. Jeremy again going for the hyzer flip-up shot. It looks like his Roadrunner again, and that is a perfect shot. It's actually cutting the corner, it looks. Wow, that was impressive. Barsby misses his line by quite a lot and gets a nasty kick back towards 14's fairway.
And what a skip that Devan Owens gets. We're going to move down the fairway. We're going to catch up with Gregg Barsby shots before we cut away to see how the women performed earlier on hole 15. So we'll move down this fairway. Gregg Barsby not getting too far past the initial gap here. And I think he's going to be in a world of hurt off on this right-hand side. He's actually quite close to 14's basket. At best, he's going to have a pitch out maybe to the fairway.
Yeah, there's no line in there. There's just thick brush and lots of woods. He needs to pitch out, but even still to get down to where the other drives are, he is still a good 250 feet from where you need to be. This is going to be a difficult hole for him.
This errant drive is going to cost him at least 2 strokes, if not more, depending on what he's trying to do to get out of here. And he's done just that. He's come right back out to the fairway. We won't really move any further down the fairway as we're going to get in position for him to throw his next shot. and this doesn't look much better.
Now, he has a couple of options, but they are difficult. In one tree kick could kick him very far to the left or right, and again off the fairway. He's too far back to have that over-the-top shot to attack the green, so he's got some tough decisions to make.
And Barsby plays the flex out and over. He's still going to be on that left side with more work to do. Let's see how the women did earlier.
519 feet for hole number 15, and Hokum seems uncatchable. She keeps rolling through. She's sitting on a handful of birdies in a row and still without a par. Katrina Allen gets a few hundred feet down the fairway. She's got a patent pending standstill, trying to get around the bend, finds another tree. She's over on the left side, and she says, that's fine, I'll go with the forehand. Plays the low forehand skip, puts herself up on the green, and she's looking at a birdie. Looks like Katrina Allen's putting woes are gone as she takes the lone birdie. She'll pick up 1 on Hokum, 2 on Pierce, and 3 on Lisa Fakis. We're through hole 15.
From uneven ground, McBeth has his back to the basket, but he catches one of the trees on the left side that was on track to head all the way to the pin. He was going to be looking at a potential eagle from there. Now he may just have to get up and down and try and settle for the birdie. And Big Germ is short, and on this right side, a matter of just a few feet would have made a world of difference for him. Now he's going to have a very difficult stance, similar to what we saw from McBeth's. However, Big Germ looks like he's lining up a forehand roller.
Yeah, that's a common shot on this hole. We saw Kevin Jones throw about 30 of them here, but it's good for that hill, and the ankle will slow it down as it goes up.
Big Germ concerned about his backswing. He could feel a little bit of the tree branches behind him, and after that's hit a tree in front of him, it's rolled back considerably. He's going to be in the center of the fairway. He's going to have a very easy, well, should I say for Big Germ capabilities, a very easy approach shot from there.
Throws it high, but it looks okay. It comes in right at the pin. He wasn't happy about that one. Clearly higher and farther to the left than he wanted to, but it worked out.
Yeah, he did flirt with those low-hanging tree branches there, and he managed to fight right through them. I think he got away with one a little bit there. We see Gregg Barsby here on the left side still hacking through this hole. He is struggling, and we're going to see a forehand roller probably. Let's see, he has somewhat of an angle to keep it horizontal. And he does try the flat forehand and gets a tree no more than 30 feet in front of him. Cameron, you could not place a drive any better than what we just saw from where Devan Owens had landed. And that was very impressive. He's looking at an eagle there?
Oh, absolutely. That was a perfect shot. I don't know how many shots we just had between all of his other competitors before he got to his drive, but after that great drive that he had, that had just the perfect skip that just kept it low and a little bit to the right, that was impressive.
And Gregg Barsby throws his approach shot. He's ready to be done with hole number 15. This hole can really come out and bite you. We saw some of the women struggle a little bit earlier here today. In fact, everyone except for Katrina Allen was at par or worse when they had played it earlier. Katrina taking a birdie, I believe, on this hole. Very impressive. And Paul McBeth is short and right and has plenty of obstruction between him and the basket. I'm not sure he's going to have a clean look at the eagle here. He just wants to make sure he doesn't get too aggressive, possibly hit a tree early and have a long putt for what would be his birdie. Oh my goodness. Paul McBeth cans the putt. We were just talking about making sure he stayed clean to at least secure the birdie. He says, I ain't got time for that, and he cans the huge putt for eagle. What do you think?
I'm having trouble keeping track of all of his birdies and being under. Oh my goodness. So that's 10 under through 9 holes?
Something like that. Oh my goodness. Paul McBeth didn't get worse for Gregg Barsby here on 15. His putt has splashed out. I'll have to double check UDisc live, but he may have just lost 6 or 8 or maybe even a dozen strokes to McBeth on this hole. What a struggle. Let's hope Gregg Barsby can get it together. And Devan is going to answer with an eagle of his own. We'll say a little bit more standard practice there on that beautiful eagle. And Big Germ taps in. Barsby's collecting his thoughts. What a remarkable hole, and 2 very different outcomes between Barsby and McBeth. We'll see you guys on the next hole.
This is Dan, and this is Tyler. Dan and Tyler like disc, and they like beer, so they combine them in a rigorous scientific process. Disc Golf, a card game that challenges your disc skills, drinking ability, and your friendships. With 3 categories and over 50 individual cards, mix and match. Get rid of cards you don't like, or make your own rules. Disc Golf is truly American.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour and the Waco Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Discs, presents the top 5 approach shots from 2017. Number 5, Eagle McMahon on hole 13. Number 4, Ricky Wysocki, hole 16. Number 3, Jeremy Koling, way left on hole 13. Number 2, Ricky Wysocki, hole 6. And our number 1 approach at the Waco, Gregg Barsby, hole 13. Thanks for watching those amazing shots from the Waco Charity Open in 2017. The 2018 Waco Charity Open starts Thursday, March 15th and runs through Saturday, March 17th. Live broadcast starts at 4 p.m. Eastern every day.
Like way overweight for you. Was it 170? Yeah. I only have 2 that are not 175 right now. None of the swirly ones are. Right, you feel like all the swirlies are misweight. This is all your ADR. This is the only one. That's my most overstable one. And this is the bleeder. It does this. You've had your ADRs for a while, right? This one the longer than I've been alive. What?
How many more do you have on Chrome? Yeah, from that run.
Maybe like 25. Maybe all.
Really? You saw the bunch of them.
They're the Brinsters. I mean, they're the end. They're like when Wiggins got rid of the Destroyer and Brinster took it. It's that. So it's the end of Wiggins, the beginning of Brinster.
Just grabbed a bunch of those.
Yeah, it's when they had no stamps.
And you're like, let's just put my stamp on it. And
Yeah, because they were stamping these at the time. So they just brought them over.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that are being thrown.
Didn't one come up for sale? Yeah, but I've never given one to someone. But you lost one at USDGC, right? Yeah. And I think it came up for sale. Yeah, that Savage guy took or whatever. Yeah. But then he got busted.
777 Savage?
Yeah, he got
that
busted.
guy is one of the biggest punks in the sport of all time. He totally is.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let their gallery get out of the way.
He's literally told me that he didn't.
Yeah. I thought they were watching the other group.
He found my disc and legitimately went out of his way to not give it back to me.
Somebody took a picture of my buddy's disc. He's like, "You want it back?"
McBeth with an error here. He's thrown the Destroyer in this 590-foot hole and just keeps it way too high. Clips some branches and comes short. Devan going Explorer off the tee. He's got a nice turn on it. Looks like this is going to stay right in the middle, which is exactly what you want on this hole. Germ with the flick shove. It's turning a little bit, but that's going to high her out right towards the gallery. Barsby opts for the backhand that is plenty of distance, but this needs to settle and not skip too hard. It looks like he got a soft skip and it's going to be just fine. Let's see how the ladies did on this hole number 16.
Hole 16 comes in at 491 feet, and lo and behold, Sarah Holcomb just took her first par on hole 15. How will she ever recover? Looks like a great tee shot. She's going to push to that right side. She should have no problems getting over there. Fakis keeps it low. That is the line you want. Looking for a little bit of a skip. That's going to make the approach easier. Holcomb's dialed. She's got her forehand. Gets a huge skip. That's going to put her in a little bit of trouble behind the basket. Fakis is going to find a very similar spot. There's a little danger behind the basket, plus trees, hillside. Either way, Lisa Fakis says, I've got this. So she sandwiches the triple bogey with a pair of birdies, and Hokum answers also with a birdie of her own. Sarah Hokum back on the track. She's sitting 6 down overall.
McBeth, after eyeing a couple of lines, decides to just go right at it, and he's inside the circle, it looks like. With trees in the way, his only real option is this turnover shot. Just needs to hold a little longer. And he settles near the pin. Great shot from Devan Owens. Jerm from a similar life from yesterday keeps it hyzer. He needs this to settle and not skip too far off into the right. He's in the circle. He's going to have a similar putt to James Conrad from yesterday. We'll see how he does. After having a rough hole 15, Barsby was an absolute smash down here and is able to put his putter near the basket. Paul from well outside the circle gives it a great run and just skips off the, after seeing him birdie so many holes so far, I think we all thought that was going in for sure. cleans up his birdie from about 25 feet. A solid comeback after, again, a really rough hole 15. Gregg needed that, absolutely. Germ from just closer is also able to put in for birdie. It looks like McBeth is probably going to be the only one not carding birdie on this hole. Almost bounces out, but stays in. And Devan makes good for his birdie. We'll see you at hole 17. Devan with a flip-up putter shot that he's initially not happy with. It hugs that left side and just kind of falls. Germ with a glow firebird with a little bit of turn. Hopefully this hyzer's back a little up the hill. Yeah, it looks like he held left. Barsby going forehand firebird with nice turn and good height. This is hitting the hill and settles right by the basket. The crowd loves it. Ball going rock off the tee. It's got good height on it, but it looks like it's turning. Oh, it went right between the two trees, and he is within 15 feet of the basket. We'll see how the ladies did on hole 17.
279 feet for hole number 17. Sarah Holcomb, 5 down on the round. She is scorching. And she decides She'll just park this one right next to the basket. Hole 17 dialed in for Hokum. Paige Pierce backhand takes the skinnier right-hand route, puts herself right on top of the ledge. That's a death putt, looking right at the basket, but short enough. Oh yeah, stare that one down. That's a birdie for Paige Pierce. Meanwhile, Hokum doesn't require putting. That's a head knocker. She's in for the birdie, and now we have the top 10.
From just outside the circle, was able to put it in dead center. This is going to help keep the pressure on Paul McBeth to keep on having to birdie. They're within 3 strokes of each other right now. And Devan makes good on his putt. Call from 10 feet, all but a tap in for him, and then Barsby will tap his in from just 7 feet. And we'll move on to hole 18.
What Texas pro led the FPO division in Circle 2 putting at last year's Waco Annual Charity Open?
Game over.
Here are the top 5 putts from the 2017 Waco Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. Number 5, Will Shoestrick on hole 2. Number 4, Ricky Wysocki, hole 10.
See, after the run you were talking about this hitting a branch and going in, but I think it would have gone in either way. The branch didn't really affect it.
Number 3, Jeremy Koling, hole 4.
That was a must get there.
Must make. Got the powerful fist and everything.
Number 2, Ricky Wysocki, hole 16.
Ricky with the swan.
It's just insane. When you're playing with Ricky and he does that, it's like just, of course.
Of course.
At least it makes him smile.
Speaking of Simon Lizotte, a huge putt in round 1 for birdie. He had the putter going strong all week long in Waco.
Thanks for watching those hot putts from the Waco Charity Open in 2017. The 2018 Waco Charity Open will be broadcast live Thursday through Saturday, March 15th to 17th. Live broadcast starts at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern every day.
And Germ going glow Firebird again. It's what he threw yesterday. He had a near perfect shot and a great eagle on this hole. That looked like it had the right height and angle to get down there. And no surprise here, Barsby's also going forehand. It's pretty tight off the tee on the right side, but the height was good for distance. No surprise here, McBeth with a forehand destroyer off the tee. Plenty of height and power. Let's see where he landed. Devan, the only left-handed card, forced to go backhand with a putter, and it looks like he's hit the gap just right.
Top 10 women. Looking at it with Lisa Fakis sitting in 4th before we head into hole number 18. Holcomb hugging the left side on this difficult par 5.
Oh my God,
she
Sarah.
tries to get it out but doesn't. She's going to have to pitch from one knee. Still hugging that left side. That's her 3rd shot on the par 5. And she's going to get it up on top. Maybe looking on the dance floor. She's looking for a dance partner. Holcomb's been dialed. She has just 1 par with 2 blemishes thus far. And she's outside circle 1 looking at 38 feet. And she bangs it. Sarah Holcomb unstoppable. She's sitting at 6 under for the round, 7 total.
Cody, is that exactly where it is? I thought it was further down the fairway. Yeah, okay, so he doesn't know. Don't try and go that way.
Back it up.
Devan has this high enough. It flipped flat a little bit too much, though. He's finding himself at the base of the hill. There are some holes to get get to the basket from there, so he can still get a birdie. But an eagle is going to be a tough look for him. Germ, after getting plenty of distance on his tee shot, has an obstructed lie and winds up at the base of the hill that he needs to get over before he gets to the basket. Paul, with all of the distance and placement you could ask for on this, or off the tee on this hole, throws his mid-range shot a little too low, a little too turn, and it rolls down the hill. Barsby with the longest tee shot gets aggressive and throws a fairway driver, but doesn't turn it over enough and winds up in the woods with everybody else. Oh, the line for his jump putt, and just comes up off the tray. Paul from well outside of circle 2, downhill, trying to get his eagle on this hole 18. Expressing some frustration with his lies, changes course and hits the pole in his upshot instead of going for it.
Yeah, it looked perfect.
Devan taking his time to line up all of his angles, and he puts his upshot to within 10. Gregg is going to have a similar lie. Oh, maybe a little bit closer. Gregg giving us a solid run, just goes right past the basket. Where he landed, he might have one tree in his way, but all these players are going to have to settle for birdies on this long par 5. Barsby from 25 hits his window. It's up. It's in. It's good. Looks like all of these players are carding birdies on hole 18 today. And we'll see everybody at hole 1.
In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea, driven by a passion to create something original and authentic, right here in the heart of Texas. We've made a significant investment, not only in our operations and whiskeys, but in the community that we know and love as Waco. Distilled in Texas, distinguished in taste.
Good putt.
Welcome back. We're here on hole number 1, coming in at 555 feet, averaging 3.6 on the day. What's the play here, Cam?
You know, an easy play to go for the 3 is to just throw a hyzer that breaks this initial gap where the Mando is and ends out to the left side. I think what Sherman's going to do after he did it so well yesterday is throw a roller that kind of curls out to the left and then back again right towards the basket. But there's a few different lines in the air to get there. We might see a forehand shot out of Barsby. And Sherm opts for the forehand. It clears the Mando and kicks one branch. That's probably a good branch. It was high and going towards that OB street on the right side. Barsby going backhand, a slight turnover. If this comes out, it's going to be an absolute crush down there. It's probably not in range for a 2, but it's a very easy 3 from that lie. Paul with the destroyer. It's hit an early tree, and he's short of the Mando. I'm not sure if he's inbound, but if he is inbound and has not reached the Mando yet, he's going to have a tough time getting around it. And Devan with the lefty play just plays a hyzer out to the left side. Clean and smooth. He gets a big skip. And that's going to be playing. We'll see how the ladies did on hole 1.
Gets a skip off the sidewalk, but we're out of the woods. We'll see if Hokum can remain quite as pinpoint accurate as she's cruising right now with a 7-stroke advantage. She's got plenty of room to work on this left-hand side. Puts it out into the open, trying to avoid all the trees. She's going to carry that left side. Carry it and carry it. Gets a skip off the sidewalk, but it doesn't skip enough. And finally, it just nestles out of bounds. Sarah Hokum with a mistake. She can save the par like the last hole. Instead, she puts it under the pin. Meanwhile, Paige Pierce has a look at birdie from 40 feet. Tim Tebow's stance isn't going to work here, Paige. Hokum bogeys and still has 6 strokes.
McBeth coming up short of the Mando has to throw an extreme anhyzer to get around it, and this disc is crushed. It's advanced well down fairway, but he's still going to have a long, long drive for 3. He's still outside of circle 2. Germ, after a fortunate tree kick that kept him inbounds, has a chance here to take a stroke back from Paul McBeth, and he puts it within 20 feet.
Devan plays the wide hyzer out around the tree. Comes up short of the pin. He'll have 15 feet.
McBeth switches to a Nova, which usually means that he's trying to put this into the basket. He's well outside of 100 feet here, and that's a little low, but he's going to have a drop-in par, which is not bad after that bad tee drive.
Barsby has 85 feet to the pin that goes out and around and goes just in front of the basket.
Devan puts it a little high. He's lucky that stayed in. It almost folded into the basket. But it looks like the card is going to be taking strokes from Paul McBeth on this hole. A solid putt from Barsby. Jerb from a similar distance is going to tap in. And Paul will tap in his par as well. And we're going to move on a short walk to hole number 2. We'll see you in a moment.
Cameron, talk a little bit about the wind and the conditions that we are experiencing here today versus yesterday with 25 and 30 mile an hour winds yesterday.
It's basically night and day. You can tell that the course is playing easier today. We've had some pretty hot scores come in. You know, we are barely feeling a breeze at this point right now, and whereas yesterday there were serious 30-mile-per-hour gusts coming in. The wind direction, even what we're feeling right now, is different from yesterday, and it's about 15 degrees cooler. Jern with the forehand shot that looks like it's coming up a little bit short on the right side. It's skipped, and hopefully it stays in bounds up there. There is a road on that right side. It looks to be safe. Barsby also opting for the forehand route, but turning it over a little bit too much and getting caught up on a tree. These players are dealing with ideal scoring conditions right now in terms of weather, though. There's just barely a breeze. It feels nice. It's a little bit warm. These players must be enjoying this, especially compared to yesterday.
The lefty Devan Owens goes up the left side. However, it doesn't look like he had enough hyzer angle on it. And speaking of scores, right now we have Bradley Williams and Austin Turner both in the clubhouse with a hot score of 13 under par. Paul McBeth certainly has room to challenge that as the round plays out. And what a complete gack there by Paul McBeth. He goes with the forehand. It makes it through the Zuka Disc Golf Pro Tour triple mandatory, but not by much. And Paul McBeth with a complete misfire here.
Yeah, that was a whiff. There is a little bit of wind coming in, a little bit from the front, and it was coming a little bit from left to right, but that is, I don't think that's what happened on that shot. Paul with this Nova again, just laying this up there. It gets a good kick towards the tree, or towards the basket from the tree.
Let's check in with the women.
Hole number 2, very reachable. We're looking for some birdies. Paige Pierce just misses the birdie on the previous hole. Puts this one out here nice and easy, and she's asking for the hyzer. She's going to have a putt from outside the circle on the right side, high end of the pin. And Hokum looks to be back on track. Paige from about 40 downhill, and this time she rings it up. That's a birdie for Pierce. Same high left chain, this time it sticks.
Barsby mentions a siren that was going off as he's throwing his shot, and he throws it just past the pin. Water. Oh.
Devan Owens' putt from just about 60 feet is no good. Devan hanged out wide and left, and really that didn't give it a chance at any point. Not sure if there was a lapse in concentration by Owens. But after seeing these 3 drives and now 3 approaches, Big Germ the only one left with the opportunity for a birdie. A little bit surprising to see that relatively easy hole not executed very well.
No, it's a pretty straightforward hole with a few different routes. You can go straight at it, you can go slight turnover, or you can go flick shot, which we're talking about 1 lefty and 3 really good forehand throwers, and none of them are close on this one. It looks like Germ may be inside the circle, but has a very awkward lie that they're trying to figure out over there. It's pretty surprising.
If anyone's got the length advantage, it would be Big Germ. We'll see what he does. He's going to, what looks like, opt to to go behind the accessories here, whatever those are. I need a word.
Power supply box?
Sure, we'll go with that. This is Big Germ for birdie. And Big Germ doesn't draw any metal. You have to think that he was thinking about that accessory box, as I called it, or power supply box. Meanwhile, we've got Paul McBeth for par. And Paul McBeth cleans up. So at best, we're going to be looking at 4 pars here on hole number 2. It's surprising.
Not what you would expect from the lead MPO card, certainly not. Again, the distance of this hole and their proficient forehand and turnover shot is very surprising.
Just up and over the edge for Big Germ. Barsby cleans up, as will Devan Owens. We're going to move over to hole 3 in just a few moments. We're glad you're tuned in watching a live disc golf. This is the second stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour in 2018. We'll see you on tee number 3. Hole number 3, Big Germ on the tee, playing the forehand, and that's going to go all the way to the right side fence line. It stays in bounds, but definitely much closer to that fence than he was trying for.
Yeah, it looked like he was playing pretty conservative there. That certainly he can throw it a lot further than that. I think he was just trying to make the correction on yesterday's mistake of hitting that pole.
And he was on the exact opposite side of the fairway, as you said. Yesterday he had a really good looking drive that hit the pole and then somehow kicked out of bounds. Is this a play that you would ever see a roller thrown here?
It is possible, but I've never seen it turn out well.
Barsby seems to be right on point. That center fairway. Devan Owens can really give it everything he has here. He's going to want to throw this as hard as he can. Just play something relatively stable. It can hang out over the OB. He just wants to make sure to throw it as hard as he can.
Yeah, this hole certainly plays an advantage for lefties and for power forward players because they play out over that road all that they want. It's a lot safer that way than the right-hand, backhand guys that will filter towards that road. And Paul McBeth looks to be lining up his destroyer. This hole is reachable for him. It'll be interesting to see how far he gets on this.
Paul McBeth sitting 12 under par for the round. The hottest rounds in thus far for the tournament are 13 under par. We've seen 2 of them. Paul certainly has a chance to go after that. And that is a laser that's fighting that left side. He's more than safe. We'll check in after the women.
Hole 3 is 558 feet. Sarah Hokum sitting at 7 under par. We pick up with her approach shots. Katrina Allen had thrown out of bounds. And here we have Lisa Fakis throwing her approach. That's going to put her on the dance floor. Hokum about the same distance, a little bit closer, and she's going to go long and left to the basket. Paige Pierce, closest to the pin, throws her approach right next to it. Holcomb from just about circle's edge says, I got this. All day long, her putter's been hot. She'll take the birdie. Fakis with authority throws in the birdie as well. And Paige Pierce with the tap-in birdie. 3 birdies and the bogey by Katrina Allen through hole 3.
Big Germ pinched up against the fence here on the right-hand side. Fire truck letting us know that he's here. And this should be routine birdies for everyone. This hole really does not present that much danger, assuming you're safe off the tee. There's no wind to speak of whatsoever right now. If anything, the sun might get in your eyes when you're throwing. But this should be relatively routine birdies for all of these players. McBeth with a long eagle look even.
And Germ's high and coming at the pin. It looks a little bit deep. There is sidewalk back there, and he came up just short of it.
Devan Owens is lining up, or at least looking. Momentarily looked at the forehand. Now he's going to go with a backhand. I believe this is a putter.
Devan puts it up high on a hyzer angle, and it's coming on the right side of the basket. It skips a little, but he's right about 20 feet or so.
And it looks as if both Barsby and McBeth are almost within a foot or two of one another. Barsby edging him out, in fact. I'm going to call this one a 99-footer. And McBeth draws front basket. Is that the third time that we've seen Paul McBeth draw some kind of medal on either an eagle or birdie run?
I think it is. And even though he's a little bit closer, Barsby has him stretched out because that electric box. He's going to have an in-stream look to get to it. In addition, it's 5 o'clock in Waco, and traffic is on the way home, and they're having fun honking and driving by this course. Barsby puts it within 10.
Jeremy Koling giving it more than 34 feet, too much power. He's got a comebacker, trying to make a little bit more work of this par 4.
Yeah!
Just squeaking it over. Big Germ able to take the birdie 3. I expect to see 3 more birdies.
Barsby is up and in as well, and Devan is going to be out for about 10 feet.
And high as Devan has a gentle wind coming into his face for that putt. Releases it just a bit high, but it catches chains and everyone's in for birdies. We'll see you on the next one. No.
The Dynamic Disc Recruit is a tournament quality basket at a practice level price. The Recruit is the ultimate basket for backyard practice or temporary courses. Get ready for tournaments. Get better. Get the Recruit.
Big Germ throwing down a roller, and that's fighting toward the right-hand side. It's going to be safe, but he needed a little bit more. Oh, I am corrected. That is OB. Where's the OB over there, Cam?
There's a sidewalk on that right side, and it looks like he got past that, unless he was short of it. But if you go past that twin tree down there and stay to the right, that is where the sidewalk kind of loops around. So I think he may be OB on that shot.
And what a mistake here by Big Germ off the tee after we saw him wide left yesterday. And we've actually seen him drive this one all the way to the pin in years past. So that is a very critical mistake here by Big Germ off the tee. Gregg Barsby lining up a backhander as well. And Barsby keeping it more to the left. We'll see if that one stays up. And that's also pushing right though. It gets up on edge and turns almost immediately. I wonder if this is going to alter the plays or the decision by either McBeth or by Devan. I'm thinking Devan's going to have to go with the backhand regardless.
Yeah, the wind is pushing a little bit that direction. I wonder if that turned them a little bit. I think they just made mistakes on those drives. It looked like Barsby put his in the air a little too long. And Devan going for the flip-up shot, but that is also headed towards that OB sidewalk.
What are we seeing here on this tee?
It's definitely on the other side of the sidewalk.
Paul McBeth can take advantage here.
I think you might have said that before once or twice.
And funny to see that Paul McBeth at 13 under par has been on the bottom of the box a number of times, and here he is also going out of bounds. I don't believe what we're seeing. Let's move on.
.585 feet for hole number 4 as Holcomb is sitting on the 7-stroke advantage, and Paige Pierce is excited to let it rip. Playing the full flex turnover that just keeps on going. She crushes the drive. Lisa Fakis gets the same turn but doesn't hold it quite as long. She's significantly shorter, but she's got a good look for an approach. Wide open, plays that right side. She wants the hyzer skip and gets it just behind our grip elevated basket. Paige Pierce looking at an eagle from just outside circle 2. And not enough. She's got a long comeback, and she still takes the birdie. Just inside of that, Lisa Fakis with authority. Holcomb misses a short par putt and takes the bogey. The lead is now 5.
Right now, everyone getting their spot as to where they were last in bounds. As I was walking down the fairway with Cameron here a few moments ago, I was just totally in shock and awe to see all four of these competitors throw out of bounds on this par 4. I'd like to go back and think that I don't recall ever seeing out of bounds shot thrown here previously in the 5 or 6 rounds that I've covered at this park. So not even realizing that that sidewalk comes into play as much as it does, but quite surprised to see the efforts by this lead card as Barsby throws his forehand to within 10 feet. Again, Paul McBeth, when starting this hole, 13 under par, sitting in first place. He's at 23 under overall. Jeremy Koling at 21 under. I can't imagine any strokes will be exchanged here as Paul McBeth lays up right next to the basket. He's going to be tapping in for his par 4 after the penalty stroke. I'd go as far as saying I think we're going to see 4 4s by this card. Players are looking at about 120 feet at most. Big Germ's a few feet closer, maybe 110 feet. Big Germ just trying to put this one right next to the basket. All 4 players OB. And Big Germ does just that. He wanted to clarify with me earlier that that was not his champion wombat off the tee yesterday. I think he said he just actually approached with it there. So Big Germ with a disc clarification. Of course, make sure you're listening to the best commentary in the business, Big Sexy. Tune into Jomez Pro for some shot-by-shot coverage. We'll be out here tomorrow, Championship Saturday, bringing you the final round. We may alter the game plan. We may come in a few holes later rather than be challenged by the cell signal as we were today on the first few holes, as we were a few times last year. It may be easier just to come in a few holes later, bring you a nice, fresh, clean cut, starting out on hole, what was that, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll keep you posted on that. That's 4 4s. We're moving on to hole 5.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Steve Dodge. This is the Next Generation Tour.
If you didn't take the Next Gen Tour seriously, you definitely should come in future years because it's only going to get better.
Yeah, man. Let's do this, guys.
They're up-and-coming superstars.
Go to a local level, then you qualify for your regional level, then you qualify for a national level. The prizes get bigger, and the pressure gets tougher.
I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a really, really good time.
Welcome to hole number 5. We have just 2 to play. Also see that Garrett Gerthy has completed his round. He shot a 13 under par as well. So we've seen a handful, or should I say a few competitors shoot 13 under par, and Big Germ makes the correction from yesterday and keeps himself in bounds. He's going to have a much easier approach. Again, as this afternoon has gone on, all I can think about is the difference in wind, or should I say the lack thereof. Pretty incredible today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the same disc that drew out of bounds the last time we played this hole yesterday when we were dealing with 30-mile-per-hour gusts, and you saw a completely different result there. It was perfect height and great distance. It's hard to have a better tee shot than he just had on this hole.
Gregg Barsby is going to take a similar line, an almost identical shot. We'll see if it gives him any better or worse positioning, but coming out of his hand and where it went underneath the tree limbs, that was almost identical. Devan Owens might be able to get a little bit further down the fairway playing that natural hyzer route.
There is still a little wind pushing from right to left away from the basket, and so he's going to take that into account. But yeah, he should be able to crank on this one high. It's got good angle. A solid skip, and he's right up there by Germ as long as this doesn't roll too far.
The spotter is chasing it down, giving him a green flag. A little bit of a delayed response here on the tee. Paul McBeth is lining up a forehand. And McBeth hangs it out a little bit wider than the rest of the group, keeps it lower, and doesn't get quite the skip that they did. That one went up there more. Checking with the women with 2 to play.
.530 feet for hole number 5. Paige Pierce has the tee. Paige Pierce giving it plenty of juice. Paige Pierce too much juice. And that carries all the way out and over and finds the OB. She's on the tee there for the final hole, hole 6. Katrina Allen's going to go with the forehand. Great position, right where you want to be. She could have used a little bit more distance, but that'll set up. She's now got the backhand. This is the most dangerous shot on the course. It comes down on edge, but it digs for Katrina Allen. It's going to have a long look at birdie. Paige brings it back to where it was last in bounds, but then throws it out of bounds again. Double penalty OBs for Paige Pierce here with just 2 holes to play. Katrina lazily gives it a run. She's going to be content. She'll take the only par on the hole, and she'll pick up strokes on the rest of the lead card. Paige Pierce sits 6 back. Katrina Allen is 8 back.
Our lead card is currently waiting on our second card, who are throwing their tee shots on hole number 6. I was about to say our 18th hole, which it is that as well, just not hole numbered 18.
We've got Joel Freeman here, and he's got an angle on it, but it doesn't quite look turned enough. Oh, just barely safe on the edge there. We just saw Emerson Keith go long on the right side, just past the keen wall. And up next is Drew Gibson, who has plenty of power to attack this basket. A hyzer to flat crush that looks like it's fading back towards the pin now. Let's see what kind of skip love he can get. And just past the basket on this, what is it, a 480-foot hole?
And we're going to get back to the action here, and we're going to watch. I would have to say this is probably the most challenging or daunting approach shot that we've seen here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour in the 2 stops. Today they're blessed with almost no wind. Yesterday everything was just ripping through here, and Paul McBeth comes up way short on that right-hand side. He's going to find himself between circle 1 and circle 2, it looks like, but he could have certainly challenged that OB left a little bit more.
Yeah, he put a ton of hyzer angle on that, assuming trying to keep it away from the water, and it came up very short. He didn't get the glide out of it he needed to.
If you are going to make a mistake, I guess you'd rather keep it a little bit too tight here than possibly hang it out over the water and have it not come back all the way in. I think I'm going to get on the weight loss regimen that Gregg Barsby's on. He's worn a pair of pants and a long sleeve shirt or jacket this entire round. Very impressive in this 85-degree heat as he finds himself at circle's edge. Is that how he stays so skinny?
I have no idea, Terry, but there's no way that I could do that. In warm weather, I take my clothes off.
And Big Germ's possibly going to go to a knee. Oh, he's going to get out his knee pad. This will be the first time here in 2018 I've seen him utilize this. Comes in handy. And Koling talking to himself after the shot because he's also misfired. I am not sure what's been going on, and I do not mean to be negative or pessimistic, but these last few holes we have seen mistake after mistake after mistake by all of these gentlemen, and I'm just quite surprised by it. We saw the low release on 2 by McBeth. We saw the pars there. We move over to hole 4, and we don't see anything but pars there after everyone throws OB. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Maybe yesterday shook them with the wind and they're playing extra conservative, but yeah, I feel like we're replaying hole 4. We're seeing them all do the same thing. Let's see if Devan can make a correction here.
And Devan is short and right as well. At least that one's almost inside the circle, but less than what we would expect here as we're moving down this fairway. Of course, they have just this hole and hole number 6 to complete before we'll be through 2 rounds. Excited to wrap things up tomorrow at the Waco Annual Charity Open. If you're anywhere within a few hours of us, please come out and spectate in person or get into town tonight yet, as there's a big festival and party going on down at the historic Suspension Bridge taking place down here in Waco. Cameron, I know you and your staff and crew have built that into quite a success throughout the last few years. What can I expect if they come down here tonight?
Well, for one, beautiful scenery. Where that bridge is located is right on the Brazos River, right near McLean Stadium, which is brand new and gorgeous. We've got a well-lit I-35 bridge that has color-changing LED lights, so just the scenery out there is incredible. But then we're going to have free beer from 3 local breweries. Festival games, vendors set up across the bridges. It's going to be so much fun. If you're in Texas, you need to come to it.
McBeth has 48 feet and he carries right over the basket, and that rolls all the way down and into the water. Paul McBeth's round, which started out perfect and then some in the first 8 or 9 or 10 holes, has now come to a standstill and even taking a step backwards here. Paul McBeth OB on hole number 5 on his 3rd shot, and that is not a gimme on the way back up. Jeremy Koling from about 42 feet, and it gives himself the fist pump, a little nod to the gallery, and with that it looks like they'd be maybe nodding things up.
What What an incredible change at the end of this. To think that Paul McBeth was 10 down through 9 holes, and now we're at this point. This is incredible.
I was fully anticipating McBeth to come in with a 14 or 16 under par with what we saw. Maybe even an 18 or 19 with the pace that he was setting early on. Things have slowed down. Just outside the circle for Barsby. And off the nubs, Gregg Barsby not able to get up and down. Devan Owens has a chance to pick up a few strokes here. He is inside circle 1. Solid putt there by Devan Owens, and again, not only is Paul McBeth out of bounds, he's going to be putting uphill. He's going to have to consider his footwork and where his feet are placed, as he's going to be standing uphill and then have about 25 feet. There's the pro move though. Puts his left hand into the water, so it's definitely a pro move. He's not even going to wipe off his disc. Wow. Paul McBeth picks it up and cashes it in as the water is splashing off the chains as he throws that in for the bogey. We'll be back with you for the final hole, the Waco Annual Charity Open Round 2.
The Dynamic Disc Recruit is a tournament quality basket at a practice level price. The Recruit is the ultimate basket for backyard practice or temporary courses. Get ready for tournaments. Get better. Get the Recruit.
Are you currently looking for the one? How do you get hooked up usually?
Through friends,
Players' parties.
Sometimes even fans.
And how's that been working for you?
Not so good.
Have you ever tried looking online?
Never.
You should check this site out.
Yes. Wow.
Find your go-to disc at blankinkdiscs.com today. 2018 Tour Support discs available now.
Gotta get one.
I need one.
I noted that Paul McBeth wasn't even going to wipe off his disc. As we were walking back to the next tee, I realized his bag was way back near the approach area, so it was a little bit of I guess he almost had to do exactly as he did, but he didn't even bother wiping it off on his shirt or anything.
Well, that's confidence, you know, and also just knowing that you have to do something and doing it. These players are waiting for the last card, or the card ahead of them, to get off of 6, but I imagine that with these calm conditions, we're going to see a lot of shots go over that water and be aggressive on this green.
I'm fully anticipating 3, if not all 4, trying to go ahead and clear water. I don't anticipate anyone laying up. Possibly Devan Owens, depending on the angle. This is Big Germ on the tee. What a turn of events with the scores we have coming in. Big Germ going with a turnover, but it doesn't turn quite enough. It's going to clear the water. Could he go deep?
That peninsula there is pretty thin. He could be in the water back there. We're going to see what the spotter calls. Safe.
And the spotter ultimately gives him the safe call. He, of course, cleared the pond in front of us, but as you're saying, there's water deep, which is something I didn't even think about.
And Devan, with his eyes on the basket, keeps this low. He needs this to stay up and maybe skip across the water, and he does not get it. He's going to be taking his spot from where he was last in bounds on this side of the pond.
That was very low, did not give it a chance to get across the water. We'll start talking about leader card implications for our final day as we move down to the green. Barsby flips it up, and that's also going to hyzer out. Is he going to be safe?
He touched in bounds. We'll get a call. It looks safe here. He is out, but at least he gets to take his life from right there.
I anticipated very, very power by McBeth. I'm guessing he's putting this inside circle 1. You heard it here first.
All hyzer the whole way on a 490-foot hole, and it looks great. Just short of the basket, it skips, and he is just outside the circle.
Let's check in with the women.
Final hole here, hole number 36 at the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. And what's this, a backhand? Sarah Hokum playing it safe. Gets the backhand, the swivel, and that's a Texas roll. Not sure what that is, but she just got it. Hokum's backhand puts her in the middle of the fairway. Paige Pierce says, I don't have time for laying up. Gets it turned over. The gallery is cheering for it. Everybody wants it, and she easily clears. She's looking at a circle 2 eagle putt on the final hole. Hokum plays the turn. It's pushing. It goes deep. And Hokum thinks she might be OB. Paige can give it a long jumper. That's another eagle opportunity. And instead, Sarah Hokum's not OB. She's safe for the Keenwall. She makes the putt. She takes the birdie. And Paige finishes up round with a birdie as well.
Devan, after throwing his drive OB, says, oh no, after his hand. It looks like he might be going a little deep on this one. And no, he's parked.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Probably me first then, huh?
Big Germ's going to be first to throw, as he has almost found the pond on the other side of this green. And he's going to need a little clarification or confirmation from the rest of his group. His caddy here is overseeing it, but and Big Germ seems to have his stance. And Germ's no more than 45 feet from the pin, and it grabs a little bit of metal on top. He's going to have to just settle for the birdie here as we wrap up our final hole of the second round. Barsby from 40 feet is also just off the top.
Outside the circle, just airballs his eagle putt, just sails it over the basket. There is a slight headwind coming up, but goodness, that would have been exciting.
Our lead card tomorrow is going to consist of Paul McBeth, who's going to birdie here on our final hole. I don't believe I just saw or said that, as Paul McBeth gacks from 12 feet, 10 feet. He will still be on the lead card, though, tomorrow. We're going to see Paul McBeth, Jeremy Koling, Nate Perkins, and Garrett Gerthy. Those will be your lead card tomorrow as we wrap up here at the 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open. Devan Owens looking for the round of applause, not getting it. And these guys are going to go ahead and they're going to clear out. Wow. Pretty crazy, Cameron, what we just saw. Real quick, we're going to close things out. Cameron, can you believe that finish?
No. You know, so many incredible things happened that round, like Paul McBeth shooting so hot initially and then kind of losing steam, but then also Germ taking advantage of Paul McBeth's losing steam. What an incredible round. And then also to see a missed putt like that at the end after making a wet putt back there. That was pretty incredible. Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy to see. Like I said, we still have our lead card here tomorrow. We're excited to bring it to you. We're going to have Paul McBeth, Jeremy Koling, along with Garrett Gerthy and Nate Perkins are going to be rounding things out. I want to thank our staff and crew for helping give you all of the coverage that we can out here, as well as udisclive.com. Everyone at the Waco event, thank you guys so much. Everyone on the disc tour. For Todd, along with Rick, Gary to the O, Johnny V, and myself, that's Cameron Frymark and Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for Championship Saturday.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. Go in. Oh.
For me, it's all about the exercise.
For me, it fits into my busy lifestyle.
For me, it's my passion.
For us, it doesn't cost much to play.
For me, it's fun.
Yeah!